I reiterated to Special Counsel Mueller that in order to have the shortest possible time before I was in a position to release the report, I asked that they identify 6E material. When I received the report on March 22nd, and we were hoping to have that easily identified, the 6E material, unfortunately, it did not come in that form. And it quickly became apparent that it would take about 3 or 4 weeks to identify that material and other material that had to be redacted. So there was necessarily going to be a gap between the receipt of the report and getting the full report out publicly. I offered Bob Mueller the opportunity to review that letter before it went out, and he declined. On Thursday morning, I received, it probably was received at the department Wednesday night or evening, but on Thursday morning I received a letter from Bob, the letter that's just been put into the record. And I called Bob and said, what's the issue here? And I asked him if he was suggesting that the March 24th letter was inaccurate, and he said no, but that the press reporting had been inaccurate. I'm not really sure of his reasoning. I really could not recapitulate his analysis, which is one of the reasons in my March 24th letter I simply stated the fact that he did not reach a conclusion and didn't try to put words in his mouth. I think that if he felt that he shouldn't go down the path of making a traditional prosecutive decision, then he shouldn't have investigated. That was the time to pull up. The other thing that was confusing to me is that the investigation carried on for a while as additional episodes were looked into, episodes involving the president. And so my question is, or was, why were those investigated if at the end of the day you aren't going to reach a decision on them? Let me also say that, Bob Mueller is the equivalent of a U.S. attorney. He was exercising the powers of the Attorney General subject to the supervision of the Attorney General. He's part of the Department of Justice. His work concluded when he sent his report to the Attorney General. At that point, it was my baby, and I was making a decision as to whether or not to make it public, and I effectively overrode the regulations, used discretion to lean as far forward as I could to make that public. And it was my decision how and when to make it public, not Bob Mueller's. The report says that they could not be sure that they could clearly say that he did not violate the law. As you know, that's not the standard we use in the criminal justice system. It's presumed that someone is innocent, and the government has to prove that they clearly violated the law. We're not in the business of exoneration. We're not in the business of proving they didn't violate the law. But I don't consider Bob at this stage a career prosecutor. He's had a career as a prosecutor. The letter's a bit snitty, and I think it was probably written by one of his staff people.